All right, so we're going to take a look at solving exponential functions. Okay, so we're looking at exponential functions in the form of fx equals a times b raised to the power of x. So x is always going to be your time, okay? A is your initial amount, your starting point, or you could think of it like your y-intercept, okay? B is your rate or your multiplier, okay? And these are going to be in the form of a percentage. So rates are given as percent. If increasing, we call it growth, okay? And we're going to do 1 plus r to get our b, okay? If it's decreasing, decay, then it's 1 minus r as our b. Okay, we'll look at an example down below. Real quick, let's look at this table. I randomly gave us a table. Okay, so here x's are increasing by 1 each time. Okay, oops, I meant to put plus 1. All right, so we're increasing by 1 each time, and then our y values are increasing at a rate of times 2 each time, right? So it's getting much bigger, much faster. This number would be your multiplier. That is what you're multiplying each term by to get the next one. That's your rate, okay? So for this example, it would be 2%, okay? But you know, as a percent, we would move your decimal 2 times, right? So a percent as a decimal would be 0.02, okay? Because you moved that decimal 2 times, which means we have a 0 here, so 0.02%, or 2% becomes 0.02 as a decimal, okay? So you can see that we're increasing, right? We're going from 7 to 14 to 28 to 56. So we would put a 1 in front. So this would be 1 plus 0.02, which could give us 1.02 as our B, okay? Our A, our initial amount, or our y-intercept would be 7, right? We're starting at 0, our initial amount is 7. So my A is 7, my B is 1.02. My X is time, so we would need a word problem to give us our time. So let's look at an example down below. All right, so Mr. Clark told his English class that each week students forget 22% of the vocabulary words they learned the previous week. If they learned 30 words, how many would be forgotten after 4 weeks? Okay, so let's set up our equation. Okay, f of x would equal, we want to know our a, our b, and our x. So I'm going to write it over here to the left. We want to know a equals, our b equals, and our x equals. Okay, so one important clue that stands out is your percent. That has to do with your rate, right? So my rate would be 22%. 22 is our rate, but we need to either add it to 1 or we need to subtract it from 1, okay? So the amount of vocabulary words that you know is decreasing, right? You start off knowing 30, but then each week you're going to forget 22%. So the amount that you know is decreasing. Okay, so since it's decreasing, we have decay. We're going to say 1 minus our r. Okay, so we're going to have 1 minus, not 22%, right? 22% would be, move that decimal 2 times, so it would be 0.22. So 1 minus 0.22, which gives us 1 minus 0.22 gives us you can't see, 0.78. Okay, so my B is going to be 0.78. Our A, our initial value, our starting point, is 30 words. Okay, we're starting with knowing 30 words. And then our X, the amount of time, we want to know how much would be forgotten after 4 weeks. Okay, so we're going to plug that in. Fx equals a times b raised to the power of x. So we're going to have f of x equals my a, which is 30, times b, which is 0.78, raised to the power of x, and our x is going to be 4. Okay, so we're going to type that into our calculator. So at 30 times 0.78, and I'm going to raise that to the power of 4. And I get approximately 11. Okay, if we round it to nearest whole number, we would get 11. So that means they would have forgotten about 11 words by the end. After 4 weeks, of those 30, they would have forgotten 11. Okay? Okay, example 2. A population of dogs is expected to increase at a rate of 3% each year. If the original population is 500, what would be the population after 8 years? Okay, so I'm going to find our A, our B, and our X. Okay, A is our initial amount, which is 500. X is our time, so we want to know after 8 years. And then B, you have 3%. Okay, so 3% written as a decimal would be 0.03. Okay, and we're increasing, okay, which means we're going to do 1 plus 0.03, which gives us 1.03. So all of this combined into our equation, our A times our B raised to the power of x, and we would type this in our calculator. Okay, so we would have 500, our initial value, times 1.03 raised to 8. Means after 8 years, we would have about 633 dogs. And that's it.